part. Don't. If it goes through the nose, you're gonna feel burning in your sinuses
and chunks, right?
It's a no-win situation.
Oh God, that's horrible. It's the most unnatural feeling. It's so. Okay, you want to know the worst thing that can happen to a man ever? Talking about unnatural feelings.
Go ahead.
Okay, go on.
You took your Viagra and you vomited.
So I've had some issues, medical issues, and boy, when you get old, it's fun. So I had to have a scoping of my bladder. I've had to have a lot of fun.
A scoping?
A scoping of your bladder.
What is that? Camera?
That's when they take a camera and they put it into your bladder.
How did they get that?
Oh, Blaine, how did they get the camera in? How did they get the camera in there? If you ask me, I'd rather they just stab me in my heart and then inject it through that, but that's not how they do it, apparently. How they do it is you go into the room, and there are these things hanging from the wall that are the most horrible things you've ever seen in your life. And then there's a chair, and the chair is horrible, too.
There's stirrups?
And then there's like, there wasn't stirrups, but there could have been. And then there was like a blanket, and the blanket thing, and then you sit down in the chair, and then a guy comes in the room. He goes, "All right, you have to take your pants off now, or the blanket." And you go, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Are you allergic to iodine?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't even met you before." And then they put iodine on your things. And then the doctor comes in later, and then he goes, "Hey, did you see that basketball game last night?" And that's where they have you, because that's where they've started the lie. Once the doctor starts the lie, you're like, "Oh, yes, doctor, I did see the basketball." Boom. And that's when they go in for the kill.
Wait, are they?
That's when they go in for the kill. Like, "Oh, yes, I have a thought." Like he's tricking you, like he's distracting you. It's like, "Oh, I'm interested in basketball." Biggest pain I've ever felt in my entire life. Biggest pain you've ever. The first guy was like, "Look, I'm not going to lie to you. This isn't going to be great. But it's not as bad as you think it's going to be." But here's the thing. Those fuckers, and I've had to do this multiple times now.
What?
Yeah, I've had to do this multiple times now because everyone just thinks it's funny to send you all spending money on medical bills. So I've had to do this multiple times. The first time was after passing kidney stones, which is already the most painful goddamn thing you could ever do in your life. And after you pass kidney stones, there's parts of your internal organs that are a little bit raw. And then after they're a little bit raw, then they stick medical equipment past the same area.
Okay, so to be clear, we're talking about the urethra.
That's painful. That's painful.
They're just sticking it in.
And that time I went, it was like literally a week. I was walking around like, for like a week. And I was like, this is where, and I knew I had to go back.
This is hurting.
So I went back, and I was like, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be horrible. And it was bad. And they're going, and it's like drilling for oil. And they're like, don't worry. As soon as we hit to the fracking stage, it won't be as bad. And so they get to like that sediment layer, and it's still bad, but it's not as bad. And you're like, okay. And the funny thing is too, they're like, the doctor's like, you're going to have the urge to tighten up. And don't do that. And of course, like your body's like, because it's like, something is probing inside of you and your body's like, get it out. Like all your muscles, like that's why you have ass muscles and muscles in your groin. The only reason for all those muscles is like, get it out of me.
Yeah, and you have to tell your muscles
they don't work backwards.
Buddy, trust me,
so
this
he's
is
like,
okay.
And I'm just like, okay, I mean, that is like, you have to have the mental capacity of a Jedi Knight.
Is that what they train for?
Yeah, to like, breathe. So I'm like breathing. And fuck you, people who give birth. Oh, giving birth to children is so hard. No, fuck you, it's not. Okay? What men have to go through, let me tell you something about mathematical ratios. Okay, it's this big. It's this big, and it's not meant to get bigger. You guys are meant to get big. You're flowers. You bloom. You fuckers are flowers. We are not fucking flowers. We're fucking sticks. You don't stick a stick inside another stick. That's not where sticks are supposed to go. No one goes, hey, there's a stick. Let's put a stick inside of it. That's against nature. That's against nature. So, God damn it.
Did you pop the Viagra before? Just make it easier? So they just go like
That's
straight
the other
line?
thing. That's the other thing, too, is like I'm thinking to myself, man, these fuckers have to sit there and do this shit to people all fucking day long. That's their job. It's like, oh, here comes another thing. We gotta stick a stick in it. And I gotta explain to the stick that's not gonna be fun.
So is it like a cord, like a tubey?
I'm imagining. Have you ever seen The Matrix?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Destroyed.
Again, when I walked in the room and had the thing hanging on the wall, I'm like laying in the chair, and the doctor goes, most people don't look. I'm like, I'm not gonna look.
Yeah.
So I didn't look. I'm not gonna look. I don't want to look.
But was it like
I made that mistake when I was 7 because I had an operation on my leg, and the doctor was like, "Want to watch?" I'm like, "Yeah." Don't watch.
No, it's never
Don't
good.
watch.
I had to do the same thing like 5 years ago, and they were just like, well, you know, we're just down here. We'll put a curtain if you want to go and look. And I was like, look, you know what? I don't want that image burned into my mind. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, like with that, or in like a nightmare, being chased by one of those probes.
So like it was my second fucking time, right? So I get through with it, and I remember telling that dude because he remembered me from last time. I'm like, oh hey, he was like, oh hey,
You're
back.
the one who screamed and cried,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, I remember you. I remember you. You remember me. All right, great. Okay, so that's great. And I remember telling him up front, I was like, yeah, that was the most horrifically painful thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I couldn't walk for a week. And he's like, oh. And I guess apparently what happened to me was not ordinary because I guess it was worse for me because he's like, oh, because when I came back after the procedure, he's like, well, here are some pills. And here's the green pill. The green pill is going to turn your
It is the Matrix.
Yeah, oh my God, it is. It is. I took the green pill and woke up to this shit. Fucking crap. So he goes, the green pill will turn your urine blue. And you won't, and it did. It turned my urine blue. And it's not nearly as painful. And I literally was like, where was that pill last time? And he's like, oh, we were probably out. We go through them all the time. And how much money is going into medical facilities? Don't run out of the pill. Don't run out of the pill.
I'd like to imagine.
Tell me when this pill is stored.
Yeah.
I will drive there right now.
I'll reschedule for the pill. So that's bad. That's all bad. And by the way, if you're a dude, guess what? You are getting prostate cancer. You're getting prostate cancer. You get to live long enough to get prostate cancer.
Salute to
That's
that.
it. If you're a dude, you get to live long enough to get prostate cancer. So that got real quiet in here all of a sudden. All the laughing stopped.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, fuck. So and that's the deal, you know, and we suck, our gender sucks, everything sucks about us, and we suck.
So,
And there's nothing to be done. Fuck.
When they pull out, is it like subtle and slow, or do they like?
Well, the funny thing about unbelievable magnified pain beyond all realm of reality is that when you feel that, something that's super painful is relief. So the pulling out was painful, but it was a relief because it wasn't as painful as, you know, you're sitting there and he's like, all right, just another minute, just hang on, I'm looking around, and you're just, God. And they get out. But what was I can't remember. There's some other, I think that I'm mentally blocking out some things.
How do they,
at this point?
how do they stretch out the pee hole?
Why do you keep asking questions?
How do they stretch
I
it
don't
out
know.
so they can fit?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
Speaking
Walking
of
around.
medical horrible stories, have I ever told you about my anal fissure?
No.
So when I was little, I used to wipe so hard, and I get them every now and then.
But before you tell the story,
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I have a deep sense of regret for opening my mouth. But go ahead now. Every time I tell a story, I'm like, why the fuck did I tell that story? But go ahead.